Welcome to Basic Design. I am going to briefly discuss some of the materials that you're going to need for the class and basically what you need in the beginning through the end. I'm going to try and cover as much as possible and make this short and sweet. So first of all, in the class, you're going to definitely need some staples. You're not going to need to get everything right away, such as your paint. That's going to be in when we get into color and you're going to be painting the last few projects about halfway through the semester. So your paint, mediums, things like that, you can wait to get those, or you can get everything at once. The total of everything, and this is maybe a little bit more than you're even going to need, comes out to maybe $140, $150 tops. And I'm also going to discuss with you things that you can substitute from your home. To get started, first thing that you're going to need is your Bristol. Oops. I have 14 by 17 inch Bristol. This is the bigger size that I typically work with in the class. You can get this size. It's a great size to work with, or you can get the next step down. I prefer the larger, but it's up to you. So you are definitely going to need your Bristol paper. And basically, if I show you, you open it up. Oop, there's a mandala. The paper is thick, so it holds different mediums pretty nice. So you can use it when you start painting as well. You will need, if you get that size, you're going to need the 18-inch ruler, and I prefer the metal rulers. The reason being is they're more stable. You don't get little chunks taken out of them like in plastic rulers or wooden rulers, so they're much more useful, I guess. And you can buy little rulers. You're gonna need a sketchbook. So I have a sketchbook here. This is the palm size of my hand. You don't need anything any bigger than this. You can go bigger, but you don't need to, but not any smaller than this. A few pencils. It's not a drawing class, it's a design class. So we're gonna get into more of what you actually need, but a mechanical pencil or a number 2 or a 2B if you have drawing pencils, just for sketching. In your sketchbook, when we get into things like thumbnails and preliminary drawings, those are gonna be useful. And in my hand, I have an X-Acto blade. You may not need it, but it's always good to have in your toolbox. Speaking of toolboxes, you might want to have something to put everything in, like an artist toolbox or just a plastic box of some kind, so that everything is in one place. You will be needing a couple different erasers. So here I have a Cretacolor monolith. This is really nice. It's a hard, it's flexible. It's not a real hard rubber, but this really gets pencil marks up nicely, and a kneaded eraser, which this one's gonna be it's a little stiff, but kneaded erasers are great for like vacuuming up your pencil instead of getting a bunch of chunks. And when they're warmed up in your hand, they become very flexible and you can stretch them. This one's very stiff because it's been sitting, but you can stretch them and it renews itself. They're really great for just drawing in general, and especially charcoal drawings. So you might want to pick up one of those. I have big chunks of it. I like the bigger ones because they're easier to work with. The smaller ones, if they dry out, they're just no good. You are going to need a set. I have 2 different sets of drawing pens. I have a Prismacolor. I got Faber-Castell and your regular old Micron. They come in different name brands, such as Copic, Sharpie has a series, and basically you're going to need, so I have actually 3 different things. You're gonna need some brush pens. So these are like getting into some little details, filling in some black shapes, especially on your very first project, which is going to be a positive negative ink shape project where you're going to really need to get in some spaces. And then the tips, you can see it's really fine. This is a 005. It's a really fine tip. And then as the numbers go up, the tips get a little bit bigger. So if I go to number 08, you can see it gets bigger. Or you can buy them in a set. These came in a set. You can buy, these are bought individually. You can buy them in a set. That's up to you. If it says B, it's a brush. It's just a little brush pen. S is for a small tip. Medium for a little bit larger tip. So on and so forth. And you can buy those in kits as well. And I think you might be able to save money. Some brushes for painting and also some of your ink work. So you're gonna need some kind of artist acrylic ink or India ink in black, not any other color. And this is basically just, if you unscrew it, be really careful. And it has like a dropper. The way you're gonna use it is you're just gonna take this out and you're gonna dip your brushes into it. You can also pour a little bit out into like a small tray and use it like that. Kind of like what I did for this. I had a container. You don't want containers for water, also when you're using ink. I have a really good compass for drawing circles. You can draw really big circles with this. And just a cheap old, compass here. I have different brushes. So I have everything from a really small fine tip for tiny little detail, which you might want to consider for when we get into one of the projects, painting projects, is a mandala project with small detail in it. This is a 1/4 inch, or not a 1/4 inch. Is that a 1/4 inch? No, this is like an 1/8 inch flat. This is a 1/4 inch. Couple rounds, you can see how small. Filberts are really nice for edging and filling in some nice shapes of color or ink. It's a nice big filbert there. So just a variety of paintbrushes. These you can also get in packs, like these blue ones. Actually, each of these, they came in their own pack with a variety of sizes. What else? Some fun things. So those are like, you're gonna need some pens, pencils, your sketchbook, and your ruler, some blue painter's tape, and some brushes with your India ink right away. You won't necessarily need all your paint right away. You won't necessarily need extra pens right away, things like that, or like your paint palette. But you need your paper, your pens, your pencil, sketchbook, things like that. When we get into painting, there are different brands that you can use, such as Liquitex Basics, which is kind of a cheaper brand. They work great. Artist Loft at Michael's is fine for when you're just starting out, but they have student grade to professional grade. And these are very liquidy. These I actually prefer out of the tube, and also there's student to professional grade in these as well. There's Winsor Newton, Golden, Grumbacher, any of them are good. And you can mix them. I've mixed them and it works just fine. Even though the texture is a little bit different, you can use them together. What else? French curves. So French curves are these little guys. And they come in all different sizes. These are amazing for when you have to draw curves really clean. You can actually do a sketch and have kind of a curve, and then clean it up with edges from French curves. So you might want to pick up some of these. These are just like your compasses and most of your rulers. They will be in the drafting department of the art store. A lot of these, like pencils, pens, will be in that aisle. So if you go to Blick off of Placentia in Fullerton, that's where you're going to find it, in the drafting aisle. Also, you know, if you have any questions about materials from your list, you can always ask one of the people that work there. They are amazing at helping students out. So this is just a quick little review of kind of what you need. So, and I'm going to upload this, and you have your list. So just kind of follow that. Like, and I will be going over this again. So when we meet up, I will talk about, you know, all of this stuff and answer any questions that you might have. So thanks for watching.